Very good afternoon, friends. Meeting again in the session of third year Medica. And remedy, a short remedy, but very useful remedy in day-to-day practice, the Millefolium. We're going to learn Millefolium. The name of Millefolium is the Achillea Millefolium or Millefolium Achillea. This is the remedy from Compositae family. Few things you must always remember with Millefolium is the traumatic bleeding, where the bleeding is fresh, bright red, as if like a phosphorus. So there are two remedies which comes together. The arnica plus phosphorus is equal to Millefolium in case of bleeding. Bleeding anywhere. That bleeding might be from the nose because of trauma. That bleeding might be from abdominal injury producing rectal hemorrhage or urinary hemorrhage, or it might be a bleeding from uterine region, and bleeding which is absolutely bright red and never stoppable. One must think about the Millefolium. In fact, this remedy many times stops acute bleeding. Acute epistaxis, one must give the Millefolium and it stops instantaneously. So one of the profuse bleeding remedy, where the blood is absolutely bright red, one must think about the Millefolium. Open your Boericke Materia Medica. We'll learn a little bit about the Millefolium, what is given over there. So Millefolium, it is ARO. It is a remedy from Asteraceae, a branch of Compositae family. An invaluable remedy for various types of hemorrhages where the blood is bright red, incarcerated hernia, smallpox with great pain in the pit of stomach. After operations for stone and there is hemorrhage and that hemorrhage is continuous, which happens to be there, this remedy stops that bleeding. Bad effects from fall from height. So it's very important in injuries, overlifting, continued high temperature, fever with congestive fever, where the bleeding is one of the indication. One must think about this remedy. Hemoptysis, head vertigo when moving slowly. There is a vertigo when you move slowly. Sensation as if he had forgotten something. The head seems full of blood. The head is looks like that there is full of blood. Convulsions and epilepsy from suppressed menses. There is a convulsion. There might be a epilepsy. This is congestive problems of the brain where you can get this remedy. Piercing thrusts of the pain. So there is something as a piercing inside the head. That severity of the headache is there with this Millefolium. Nosebleed, in nosebleed, piercing pains from eyes to the root of the nose. Stools, the hemorrhages are from the bowels, bleeding hemorrhoids, and urine is bloody, like senescence or yes. Female complaints, menses early, they are profuse and protracted. Protracted means long lasting. Hemorrhage from the uterus. Hemorrhage is bright red fluid. It is absolutely bright red. Painful varices during pregnancy. Underline this. This is given in italics. So varicose veins during pregnancy, where bleeding happens to be there many times. This remedy is a wonderful remedy to tackle such condition. Another remedy is hemamelis, as we know properly. Respiratory symptoms, hemoptysis in incipient thesis. This is a remedy from tubercular miasm. So incipient means not it happened, but it is going towards the tuberculosis. The when it starts bleeding, one must compare here Acalepa indica, an Indian drug, where the hemoptysis in tuberculosis or thesis happens to be there. Cough with bloody expectoration in suppressed menses or hemorrhoids, there is violent palpitation. Relationship, he has mentioned about the ficus venosa, not well proved remedy, but hemorrhages from the bowels and lungs. Acalipa, that's what I have just said. Acalipa indica, wonderful remedy for incipient thesis, where hemoptysis is one indication. Helix tosta, it is a snail in hemoptysis, disease of chest and consumption. Consumption word in homeopathy is nothing but the tuberculosis. Also sickle for the ipecac, the geranium, erectiton, and last the hemamelis. So this remedy, Millefolium, used in lower potencies. Generally, I used to use it 6C, 12C, 30C. Or mother tincture people's used, but I never used the Millefolium. It is there with me, but I have not utilized it. I have utilized it in 6 or 12C potency. A wonderful remedy to check the hemorrhages from the bowels, hemorrhages from the nose, hemorrhages from the rectum, hemorrhages from the vagina. A very, very useful remedy, even hemorrhages from the lungs. So one must use this remedy as a bright red blood due to bleeding due to the trauma. One must think about Millefolium as the first remedy. Thank you.